chandata yavatat desham chayo niroda evam vati mahashamanaye swaha om ye rama hetu chandata yavatat desham chayo niroda evam vati mahashamanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as shown by the great seer. Sangye Shuddha Soge Chonamla Chanjo Bandu Dani Kyapsuch Tage Jinso Kebe Sonamki Dola Kanye Sangye Dubarash. It is on page 4, the first verse. Sangye Shuddha Soge Chonamla Chanjo Bandu Dani Kyapsuch Tage Jinso Kebe Sonamki Dola Kanye Sangye Dubarash. Sangye Shuddha Soge Chonamla Chanjo Bandu Dani Kyapsuch Tage Jinso Kebe Sonamki Dola Kanye Sangye Dubarash. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of practice of giving, so forth, may I become a Buddha to control sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of practice of giving, and so forth, may I become a Buddha to control sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to control such beings. Okay, we have 3 chapters from Nagarjuna's text to cover, and also explanation of emptiness, which will, of course, take more sessions. And then we need to create the background or lay the ground for why we study this and so forth. Are the connecting what we are studying with the purpose. So therefore it can be, for some of us it can be a little daunting, it can be a little intimidating, it can be a little heavy. I would suggest that don't worry that it's too heavy, I don't understand anything, and look at the group discussion, all others, they are doing so good, they're so knowledgeable. So in fact those people, so here I can see many faces who have been in Dharma for many years, and particularly who are more, not just with Dharma for many years, but very systematically into Dharma for many years. So no doubt their knowledge is going to be very good and very systematic, and you can ask any question, they have some very sensible answers to give. So with this, particularly the newcomers, you may feel little demoralized, thinking that I don't know anything. So look, I just get nowhere, and there are all these beautiful answers coming, questions coming, no questions coming in my mind, no answers, nothing. So in fact, even those people who are so good now, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, they were like what you are doing today. They were lost. And then after all these many years of systematic learning, putting effort, being consistent, not giving up, so now you look at the benefit. You see that the knowledge is so good. So this is one thing that we need to keep in mind. In other words, what I'm saying is that don't give up. And number one. Number two, that you may feel a little heavy. Of course, the topic itself is very heavy. So if you eat lemon, you can't expect it to be sweet. It is lemon. So likewise, the same. Of course, this is a heavy topic, and some of you who are already exposed to this topic since the several years, for you this is, you will really enjoy it. And those of us who are beginners, you may feel a little heavy, particularly in comparing yourself with other people. You think that we're all just same. We're not same. They put effort, put effort to last many years. And so in a way you should be feeling happy that you got the opportunity to be in the same class with those people who are already into this class for so many years. So it is like you should be feeling honored that you are just a high school student and got the opportunity to study with PhD students. It's a great honor, right? Don't feel that, okay, I don't know anything about these people. They are PhD students, of course. They should know more. But it should be the other way around. You should be feeling honored that, okay, I'm in this topic, studying this topic. And if you don't know what is meant by feeling honored to study this topic, although I'm a beginner, then later on you go to a big monastic universities, Sarah, Tepung, and these big monastic universities, then tell them that I studied Arinagarjuna's text on emptiness, and they will give, first impression they will give you is that they will give you such a respect for you having studied this. Wow. How many years you studied? 20 years? No. 10 years? 5 years? No. Then 5 days. Oh, you're getting it? Okay, so don't disclose it's just 5 days. You're getting it? Okay, what I'm saying is that if you feel a little heavy, this is a great opportunity for us, extremely great opportunity for us. In fact, this is like a reality and also a word of encouragement that many years ago, perhaps 10 years ago, there was one of my relatives, and he's extremely pious, and he has been, doing dharma, studies, practice, getting up early in the morning, like 3 o'clock, and then reading the prayers, mantras for 2-3 hours every day. And one day he came to me. So, particularly those of us who are coming here for the first time, or attending such retreats for the first time, or hearing about emptiness, learning more systematically, first time, remember this story. He came to me and he said that I have been doing these Dharma practice for the last 20 years, every day spending like 3-4 hours, every day, and getting up so early in the morning, like 3:30, and doing the prayers, making prostrations and so forth. Now already 20 years passed. From my life experience, from my own experience, I see that there is no change within me. I'm just the same person, the mindset, anger issue, whatever, it was just the same as before. Okay, the element of piety, devotion to Dharma, and the mundane anxiety, stress, and the anger, disturbance is just the same as what I was 20 years before. So, where did it go wrong? Where was it wrong? This was the question. I said, don't worry. Just tell me whatever you've been doing per day, what recitation, what prayers you've been doing, just give me a list. He gave me a lengthy list, huge list of what he's been doing every day, 3-4 hours every day. And then I cut down many of them. I said that
it's good that you've been reciting these things, but it's not a ritual. It's for your personal growth. Now that you have realized, even realized that nothing has changed, no change occurred within yourself, that realization is the first step to realization. Actual realization, first step. That's amazing. If you don't discover this, you will never come to me. If you don't discover this, you will never come to me. You will never ask this question, and then you will never get this solution. So what I did, I just check out many of the things that he was reciting, and I said that just identify those things which you took as a commitment from your teachers, like His Holiness and so forth, as commitments. And I could see which are the commitments, and I take them. And I said, do these things. So this will give you, and this will take you about like 1 hour, not more. The remaining 2 hours, of the 2 hours, 1 hour you use for studies, 1 hour you use for your meditation. So, 1 for your commitment recitations, 1 hour for your studies, 1 hour for your meditation. So I taught him how to meditate, what to, and meanwhile he was also doing the studies. So here, yes, Tibetas we have brought the Nalanda certificate course, Nalanda diploma course brochures are here. So those of us who are not exposed to that, feel free to pick them up, collect them up. So they will be doing this in the next session. And the study, this is so important, so important. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is the final authority in the Buddhist teachings, he always encourages people that there's books there, the books there, all the books there. His Holiness encourages that don't keep the books as a decoration or an object of piety, just to offer bowls of water and so forth, but they must be used as textbooks. And while we keep them there, is to show respect. Respect, you study them as textbooks and put them with respect on high places and make offerings and so forth, is to show respect, right? So it doesn't mean that don't respect, bring them down like a textbook and then put it on the floor. There's no connotation. Respect the way we do here, plus use them for your, like a textbook. Use them to grow your mind. Okay. So with this, that the systematic studies, this is so important. And then what we did was that I said that I'm going to do my personal retreat, 1 month personal retreat. And he said that, then I'll join you. I said, come. If you come, then what we'll do is that initially the plan was that I'll do my own cooking, he'll do his own cooking, and then every day we'll meet for 1 hour class, and for him to have if he has any question on his meditation, which I instruct, he will then bring them up, I will clarify them, 1 hour, and then he go to his own room, I go to my own room, do a personal practice, and finally, because of some situations, he ended up cooking for both of us. And then the 1 hour we meet for class as well as for discussing on the issues of the practice that he's doing. 1 month, believe it or not, what he said is that this 1 month is more productive than the last 20 years of him doing this, his recitations, prayers, getting up early in the morning. 1 month is more effective than the 20 years of his efforts. So his efforts, are they wrong? They're not wrong, but the efficacy is not there. It has not been efficacious for the reason that there's no proper blueprint. So with this 1 month, he knows what to practice. He knows why to practice, how to practice. So So then there is some very steady the progress in his practice. So likewise, for all of us, study is so important to create a blueprint of your Dharma practice. Okay. So it's going to be quite intense, and then with the group discussions, particularly I would request those seniors meaning those who have been into Dhamma, more systematic studies, to make sure that be sympathetic towards the newcomers. Let them ask questions, and then you can contribute. And don't try to yourself ask questions, go too deep. And the moment you ask questions, of course your questions are going to be much more qualitative and more deep. And newcomers will be lost, and they will not be encouraged to ask questions. And if they don't ask questions, how will they grow? And they will feel demoralized. And perhaps, the way I said yesterday, of course with the best of your intention, learn yourself and to make some contribution. It may not become a contribution, it can become a disservice. Instead of service, it can be disservice, because these people in future, they may feel intimidated to come to retreats. But the retreats, again, the group discussions happen, and if I don't go there, then it's not allowed, it's compulsory. If I go there, I feel so heavy, and the people, they debate, argue, fight, and mental, some kind of aggression also comes up, and sometimes being contemptuous, looking down upon somebody else, and so forth. So let's create the group discussion, the environment, a very friendly environment, very accommodating environment. So this is what I'd like to request. And particularly, of course, the newcomers, some of the newcomers, they may be, who are a little more intelligent, more outspoken. When they do that, particularly those who are already into Dhamma for many years, with these retreats more, you would try to manage it in a very nice way. Because when you speak something sensible, and then the newcomers learn something from you, they'll feel that I've learned something. And those people who speak too much without any substance, they will know that, how the people receive what I'm saying. They don't receive it, but what she's saying, what he's saying, the others receive so well, and then the person will calm down. Right? Those who speak more without any substance, they will calm down, because it's just 1 hour, and the one person can speak for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It's so much waste of time. Okay, this was actually what happened in one of the retreats. There was one gentleman who was totally new to Dharma, and the group discussion 1 hour, he spoke for about I think 40 minutes. He speaks, some example, again he speaks, he's dominating, and there's no substance. Of course, how can one have substance if one student new to Dharma? So when you're new, let others speak. If you ask question, ask question. Then let others give the answer, those people who already knew. And then there was one gentleman who is extremely good in Dharma, and he must remain silent, just listening to this newcomer who was dominating. He's just listening like this, and sitting there for 1 hour. And he has to sit there because it's a compulsory. And he knows so well, and he can really benefit the whole group. And I was just, from the windows, I was just, without their knowledge, my being there, like a spy was going around. Then I know that this gentleman, he was going like so he didn't know anything. Someone who didn't know anything was so like the main character. And then I didn't say anything. Then privately I called this person who knows the Dharma so well, very bright. Not only bright, also very compassionate. I called him. I said, if you don't speak, it is your mistake. You are harming other people. You have to speak. You have to speak. And you don't have to. You will not fight, I know. You don't have to do anything, just give your thoughts, give the answers, and everybody's time will not be wasted. Otherwise, if you don't speak, people who know, if they don't speak, people who also know just dominate, then everybody's time will be wasted. I told him, and then the next time, again I was going around, they were inside the room, they did not know my presence, and I was observing, and then the same gentleman, he was dominating, and this man, he raised his hand, and then everybody knows that he is very good, and everybody felt relieved. And then he gave the answer. Again, after some time, when the person was dominating, again he raised his hand, he gives the answer. Everybody felt so relieved, and gradually the other person came to know that he did not really know anything. And then this person has so much things to say. And then gradually everybody started to speak. So this is how, it doesn't mean that those beginners don't speak. This is not the connotation. The question that you have, you must bring them up. You must bring them up. So, and people, in other words, if you don't ask anything, if you feel demoralized, this is where you are going wrong. Don't feel demoralized. So your job is, whatever question that you have, ask. It can be very simple, it doesn't matter. This is how everybody grows. Even I, the question that I asked to my teacher, when I was many years ago, my teacher was very good, very good. And then when he actually started to give the answer in the public, in the class, my question was asked more privately to my teacher. The answers that he gave, they were in the public. And then he said, the people, they asked this question, actually it's my question. Then he gave the answer. And then the answer that he gave, he comes up with more questions. Okay, so he comes up with just very simple question, very complicated answer given, and more complicated questions came up, which he came up with. And I will feel so ashamed that later on, whenever I ask question to him, he said, very good, I did not trust him. Okay, so with this, the point is that the newcomers, you must not suppress your questions, bring up your questions. And the senior ones, don't go too deep. First listen to them and see if you can articulate, if you can bring joy in the face of the newcomers. So if their face lit up, which means that you have acquired a skill. The knowledge that you have is very clear. The indication, the clarity of your knowledge is that the people who listen to you, they can easily understand what you say. If this doesn't happen, even though you think that you learn a lot, you've been learning for the last 20 years, but if the glow is not coming in the face of the newcomers, after you are given the answer, you need to learn how to articulate your answers. So these are all the opportunities for you to grow, rather than you just throw a very complicated question and all the newcomers, they pull back. They just give up. Okay, this is my the request to all of us here. Okay. Okay, with this is so important for us that I can directly go into the technical subjects. It doesn't help. That we should relate. We should feel that, okay, I learned something. So yes, these are my life challenges. There are so many life challenges. So many life challenges. And these life challenges, let's say yes, of course, external factors are there. Internal factors are there. And how heavy the life challenges are, how complicated the life challenges are. They are definitely determined by your perspective, your outlook of these. And when you learn the skill, how to look at things very lightly, how to look at things in the form of dependent origination, how to look at things from the two angles, external factors, internal factors. Internal factors is within me, external factors are there. Okay, let us all stretch your two hands out. Do what I'm doing. Okay, now, one hand. Okay, don't slap somebody else. Okay, so what we see is that this is the reality. You, me, everyone, any problems going in your life, any problems, say for example, like say in a family, complication with your children, complication with your husband, wife, or any relationship, or say the problem with the weather, rain. In Delhi, people crave for rain. Here, people curse the rain. So any problem, there is not say, oh no, that's too much, you curse the rain, right? No, don't push yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't be harsh. If I'm not being harsh, then how can I pamper myself? The more you pamper yourself, the more you pamper somebody, the person, you are actually imprisoning the person. The person becomes weak. If you pamper the person too much, the person becomes weak. This is not at all good for the person. So let me say this. Some of you already heard this, which I think one of the kings of the emperor, or the rulers of Dubai, once said, this is so important. Don't over-pamper yourself. And pampering too much of anybody else, yourself, others, you're not actually helping, you're harming the other person. You're making the person weak. Once this ruler was interviewed, you are the father of New Dubai. And what do you see of the future of Dubai, future of your country? And this ruler, he answered in a very different way. He did not answer it directly. What he said was that my grandfather rode a camel. What's the question? What do you see of the future of Dubai, the future of your country? He said, the answer is bright, not bright, no. What he said is, my grandfather rode a camel. Yes? The desert places, they use camel. My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. And I am riding Mercedes. And my son will ride Rolls Royce. My grandson will ride Rolls Royce. And my great-grandson will again have to ride a camel. And the interviewer was confused. What are you saying? What does it mean? What do you mean by this? Let me repeat what he said. My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. And I'm riding Mercedes. My son will ride Rolls Royce. And my grandson will ride Rolls Royce. My great-grandson will again have to ride camel. What do you mean by this? He said, because difficult times produce strong men. Strong men produce easy times. And easy times produce weak men. And weak men produce difficult times. This is the message. So if you pamper means make things very easy for somebody. And that person becomes so weak. Easy times make the person weak. And the weak person makes difficult times. Right? Okay. So with this, the thing is that we go through difficulties. Yes, everybody has sad stories to share. Everybody has sad stories. And if you say people who do not have anything to eat, they have a problem. Yes, this everybody considers a problem. And if you have your regular meal, very good meal. Look at King Charles' meal. I'm so poor. It's a problem. And King Charles, he may think that it's so boring, always the same, right? And there's nothing better than this, because he got the best. There's nothing better than this, so boring, right? Life is miserable. Everywhere, everybody's going through some problems. And we have own problems, right? Now, these 5 days, let us explore that. Try to connect with the real life challenges that we have. For example, we have health issues. Health issues. They are very severe health issues. And family pressures. So many problems are there. One after the other. Problems are there. Is there a way out? Answer is 100% yes. 100% yes. The answer is yes, but I don't find a way, which means it's my wrong, it's my mistake. No, it's not your mistake. It's not your mistake. Perhaps you are somebody who must be extremely meritorious person, that you are in an environment which is not too meritorious. So there's a saying that this is very important. It's very important that this story, I would say this is a pure story. I don't know whether it's a real story. I personally would say this is a pure story, but with a message. Every year the king used to seek advice from astrologer, advice on what he should do for this particular year. And the astrologer said, this year, at this time of the month, the rain is going to be the rain which comes in contact with anybody, who's ever comes in contact with this rain, meaning rain water, you drink it, the person becomes crazy. So the king, you should be careful. Make sure that you're well. In those days, there's no running water, whatever. Even the running water, there must be some reservoir there, or from the glaciers and so forth. So your water source must be blocked from the rains pouring in. So what he did, he asked the ministers to cover his well. Well, it has the water, but from the rain should not get into this. And the ordinary people, how can they cover? They don't have this facility. So what happened? That rain affected all the people except the king. So everybody was mad. The king was not mad. And everybody saw the king as very different. Right? Everybody said something is wrong with that king. Because they all sing so well. They're all crazy. All the subjects, they sing so well with each other. Right? Somebody says this is it, he said, this is the key, everybody laughs. Right? What's there to laugh at? If I say this is the key, everybody laughs. And somebody else will laugh, what's wrong with you? Right? So, king started to suffer because the whole subject started to see him as crazy. So he also drank the same water. You're getting it? So, your family, the community that you live in, and you may be like the king, who is normal, and your family members, they are a little crazy. And they may see that something is wrong with you. Actually, it's not wrong, right? Doesn't mean that you have to drink that rain water. Don't drink it. You're right. And nowadays, this is a time where we are very fortunate There are so many places, there are so many good people, there are so many teachers to turn to. It's not that you are the only person left, who everybody sees something wrong, where you're not wrong. Don't think like this. And this is so important. You have to identify your good potential, your potentials as potentials. And sometimes, when you're surrounded by the inhospitable environment, they may see something wrong with you. Actually, it's not you who's wrong, others are wrong. You're getting it? So, the point is that, but then how can I prove that to them that they were wrong? You don't reprove. So, first of all, you need strength. You need strength to continue yourself, to continue. For this, they say, like, for example, we say Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Also, when we take the Spirit Buddha set of our, we say, I go for refuge in the triple gem, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice the virtues of all the beings, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. When we say this, first line is, I go for refuge in the triple gem, which means that I take the support of the triple gem. You're getting it? I take the support of the triple gem. So likewise, we can take support, the strength, we can gain strength from, there are people who are extremely kind, so sensible, extremely kind, and who really knows that you have potential. So, don't feel yourself alone. Don't feel yourself alone. You're not alone. There are always good people there to support you. This is so important. And then meanwhile, keep growing. Keep growing. A little friction here and there will be there, but from your side, keep growing. Once you grow, your mind will become very strong. Nobody can affect you. You become like Mount Meru. Once you become a Mount Meru, even the wind, the strongest of the tempest, the wind, the whirlpool cannot affect Mount Meru. You cannot be affected. Okay, this is what I will share with you. Okay, so there this morning we're talking a little bit about the Buddha nature. So, what is Buddha nature? In simple terms, what is Buddha nature is that how many you in your life, once in a while you have experienced a genuine joy, profound joy. Presents? Once in a while, profound joy. Okay. In fact, yes, I personally feel this joy. One time when my aeroplane landed in Singapore, anyone from Singapore? Okay. When my flight landed in Singapore, for no reason, somewhere from within inside, there's a tremendous peace and joy coming. In anything, even the music being played in the aeroplane, going out, there's a very extremely gentle music being played. They're all seen as triggers to trigger this extremely peaceful, pleasant feeling with me. You know why? This is not because of this environment. It's because of course, when you get there at the baggage claim, you see the announcement that they put up there is very scary, right? This joke instantly, anyone with drugs, the penalty is execution. There was an announcement in Singapore. Yes, you don't find drugs in Singapore. You don't find drugs in Singapore. This is what you find there. So what I'm saying is that this joy, this extremely profound joy was coming because there were people waiting there in the airport to receive me who have a tremendous love and affection and want to learn the Dharma. I know these people over here. Because of this, knowing that there are people who are so eager to learn the Dharma, so pure at heart. So this gave me such a joy. Okay, this joy is coming from where? from inside. External factors are the triggers. The joy is coming from inside. Okay. Let's say, how many like momos, raise hands? Be honest. Momos. How much did you like? You like? You don't like? Raise hands. Okay. Ishila, you like? Raise hands. Okay, the girls there, you like? Good. Young Bella? The gentleman there, you like? The gentleman here, over there, you like? Okay. So let's say that first momo, right? You like it? Extremely delicious. Second momo, amazing. Third momo, oh, good. Fourth momo, okay. Fifth momo, okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, now I'm full. No, you have to have it. Then 50th momo, please. You're getting it? Tell me which is more delicious, the first piece or the 50th piece? First piece. So the first piece we keep the last. 50th one we eat first. No difference. No difference. You're getting it? Object per se, that is not the joy. Right? When you eat it first, the joy is coming. The same piece left the 50th. As the 50th, you will eat it will not give this joy. So the object per se is not the joy. We see joy is outside. This is a small children's way of looking at things. Therefore, ordinary people are referred to as the childlike people or childish in the text. Referred to as Shiva. Shiva means childlike or children. Children meaning that they see the joy, miseries, all these things as external. Okay. But then yes, when you have the first momo, there's a tremendous joy coming. Where does this joy come from? It comes from where? From the momo or from inside? Somewhere from inside. You're getting it somewhere from inside. So what is that inside? If you open, you will not find it. But it's there. That is known as the Buddha nature. This is the true nature of mind. And some of you may ask me a question. Likewise, somebody irritates me, anger also comes from inside. So anger, is that the Buddha nature? It also comes from inside. Okay, so these questions you have to ask. You have to ask. So the anger arises because, say, the gold, when mixed with the mud, inside the bag, right? Inside the bag, when you take out, the gold comes out. When you take out, sometimes the mud comes out. You're getting it? Mud also comes out, gold will also come out. But this mud is not the true nature of the gold. You're getting it? Mud is the adventitious nature. Remove the mud fully, then only the gold is left. So the anger that comes out, that is not your true nature. Remove the anger, all these, then the pure joy will come all the time. This reservoir of the joy is inexhaustible. This inexhaustible treasure, right? Say in Buddhist context, there's always a mention of what is known as the inexhaustible treasure. The real inexhaustible treasure is your Buddha nature, where your joy keeps coming out if you know how to retrieve that. Okay. So with this, we have to know that each one of us has this potential. And the point is that we, sometimes we tend to grow older, and then we tend to, our life tend to just go waste. So we should be wise. And sometimes how our life goes waste, it may vary from people to people, individual. In some cases, say you're being influenced by bad companions into drugs, alcohols, and so forth, and then this one, and then it's not that in your mind, I'm being dragged by these people. No, I don't want to go. You have to come to the pubs today. You have to come to the nightclubs today. Nobody said this. No, what are you doing? I'm doing the Bodhisattva retreat. I'm doing the what? Emptiness, wisdom, emptiness teaching. What emptiness? It's very boring. You always talking like this. But come today. Okay. So this is how we are being influenced by bad people. And then 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years. And then, right, you become older. Okay. And this is how we waste our life. 1. Number 2 is where I'm very busy with my life. I'm very busy. Yes, you are busy? Yes, very busy. Right? I'm very busy. I have this thing to do, that thing to do, and so forth. And really busy. Really busy. But it will not stop. Oh, you are very busy. I'm very sorry. I'll just wait for you. The age stops, right? No, age continues to make you older, right? This is, and then finally, what's left? You may have some extra money there, and you may have got some promotion, right? And then when you die, you cannot take the promotion with you. You cannot take the money with you, right? This is the meaning of you have wasted your life. Number 2. Then number 3 would be like, say, oh, I'm very busy. Why? Why you have no time for this? Oh, I have to take care of my laundry. Laundry you can do any time, not necessarily during the class. You know? Oh, I have to but I miss my holiday, I have to go for holiday. Of course you can go for holiday anytime, not necessarily at the time of the teaching or like this. So you need to know the priority. We need to learn how to prioritize the Dharma over the mundane activities. Number 2. Then number 3, the next is the pressure from the family, pressure from your community, and so forth. Okay, so these things happen, and then some people they give up. No need to give up. No need to give up. So, of these I would say that this one, the pressure from the family, pressure from the community and so forth, taking it more serious, still you can come out. Your life is so precious. Your life is so precious. Don't give up. Your life is not like a toy. This is so precious. There's a way to get out of these problems. So the first thing is always turn to people who are into Dharma, who are very experienced, who are knowledgeable, and who have a sense of concern, who cares for you. Turn towards these people. This is so important. So important. And then meanwhile keep growing yourself within Dharma. Then you will be in a position to help those people. Your family members, your community, they see that your thinking is very different, it's so precious, it's very different from ours, and this thinking makes the person maintain the sanity of the person. And for us, we think that we are normal, but we are not normal. We are suffering terribly, badly. And look at him, look at she, look at her, look at him. Manage, all these difficulties so wisely, maintain the calmness of his mind, her mind. That's amazing. We have to learn from him. We have to learn from her. We have seen this boy the last 10 years, 20 years. We have seen this girl the last 10 years, 20 years. There's such the development, progress in the calmness, the joy. And we do not have this. So we are pressurizing this boy, the girl, and then actually he should actually pressurize us to drive us into more normal life. What we are doing is wrong, what he's doing is correct. Okay, so that you can help them greatly. Okay. So having said this, the next is thinking about your life challenges. This is so good. Finally, I remember my teacher, Venerable Genlam Rinpoche, very close by here. He passed away, And when I was in my just 20s, 21, 22, or maybe even less, younger than that, 20, 21, no, when I was in school, that was when I was 17. And in Tisri school up there, some of you came with me yesterday, and in the mountain top, there were some hermits, and my teacher was there. At that point, I was just a regular school boy, and I did not have anything to do with these monks there on the mountains. And some of my senior students, seniors, 1 year, 2 years senior, they used to go to visit this hermit, who later became my teacher. Hermit, almost every Sunday, weekends, they used to go there to seek advice from him. and those days, I was so fascinated, I was so, caught up, trapped by physics. Physics and anything else which doesn't have anything to do with physics is just trivial in the mind of this young boy. For physics is everything. And I started to have very scary dreams every night, one after the other. Very scary dreams. Because I started to ask questions. How can we say that? So being in physics, relativity theory, quantum mechanics being introduced how to ask questions, how, why, what, which, so forth. Then I started to ask questions to Dharma, related to Dharma, to the people around, elders around. Hardly I could find anybody who could give the answers, satisfactory answers. Except for Venerable Geshe Dorji. He was my Tibetan teacher, and he would give very satisfactory answers to all these questions. Except for him, you see that everybody was following more like ritualistically, not knowing the rationality behind. And then because of this questioning, right? Because of this questioning, I started to have bad dreams, almost like whole 1 week continuously, every day, very bad dreams. One time, in the hostel, in the dream, through the door, I could see, just two eyes without body, two eyes coming closer towards me. Very scary. And then in the room, there was a small altar, and I went to take shelter, refuge under the altar. And the altar was blocked by a black cloth, saying that no, don't come, right? No refuge, don't come, right? So you have been questioning, the authenticity of the Dharma and so forth. You have lost faith in Dharma, so now no, we cannot give you refuge. Like the black cloth simply covered the altar. What altar we have? A young boy with maybe the picture of the Buddha or his sons, that's it, framed in some pictures, that's it. And that was just every day, one after the other, no break. Then I thought of, okay, I need to meet this monk, who my seniors would go to. And there was one particular senior boy, and I sent a message to him, through him, later to become my teacher, to give me that I can have an appointment with him. Then he said yes. So the appointment was fixed, and they could go freely, and I saw the appointment. And when I got into his hermit, a small hermitage, and when he saw this young boy, I don't know what kind of introduction my senior gave to the teacher, that he's very bright, he's into physics, into science, he's a top student, and he has questions. So, all these things must have fed my teacher with the introduction. And when I entered his hermitage, my teacher seemed to be a little uncomfortable seeing me, little serious like this. And he not ready to just, openly embrace, because this boy can be very cynical, right? Very cynical, and very smart or intelligent, and very cynical about Dharma, so he's very serious. And I'm not at all cynical. I just came with a very pure heart, out of, with not to demean Dharma. I came there and he sensed it. And then he instantly relaxed. He relaxed. Then what he said, even today, that was back in 1987. How many years now? 1987. 35, 36. Even today, after 35, 36 years, I could not stop myself being baffled by the one statement that he made. What he said is that, Dorji, if you have no suffering, you don't have to go for Dharma, you don't have to practice Dharma. This is what he said. Extremely scientific, extremely logical. That's amazing. Oh, you have to practice Dharma, without which next life you will suffer. No. You will suffer, you will be punished, you will pay penalty, you go to hell. Nothing. If you are not suffering, no need to practice Dharma. That's amazing. In other words, we all have suffering in one way or the other. And some young people, they tend to forget the suffering very easily. And if you think that you don't have suffering, right, don't worry. There are many more years awaiting with the whole package of suffering for you, right? For you, for me, for each one of us. And elders, they have the experience, right? Elders, they have the experience. And the younger ones, they do not have the experience. So, time is waiting for you with the whole package of Christmas gift of sufferings, right? For all of us. So, seeing this, the Buddha's teachings, oftentimes I tell people, when I meet with individuals, when I see the degree of the anxiety of the individual, not created by external factors, how the mind takes a form, the natural tendency of the person's mind into anxiety and stress. And when I see that the degree is quite strong, quite big, or what do you call it, quite great, what I tell people is that bad things can happen, tragedies can happen at any time to anybody at any place. So we should prepare ourselves, where you will not break down at that point, you will not be shattered at that point. So I suggest to people, seeing this state, I always suggest you don't have to do anything, just recite the Buddha's 4 lines, the 4 seals. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. So I just suggest, say this 3 times a day. If possible, reflect on the meanings. Anyway, why I'm saying this is that this person will gradually, this mind will gradually learn to accept the reality on the basis of these 4 seals. 4 seals, and then when the very severe tragedies hit you, the person will not be, badly affected, not go into shocking state. So this is so important. So I know that there are many of us here who already learned these 4 seeds for many years, but for me, after all these many years, still today, I can't imagine the wonder that I feel over each of these lines. One line is good enough to just throw me into the sense of wonder. How come that Prince Siddhartha, just at the age of like 29 through to say the 35, I'm already 55, 20 years older than Prince Siddhartha when he became the Buddha. Right? I'm 20 years older. But what he said, what he discovered at the age of 35, it continues to baffle me. It's so mesmerized. It just make me feel awestruck. Wow, that's amazing. All composite things impermanent. In one line, he presented the reality of the life. So comprehensive, amazing. So when you relate these four, then you will know how to come out of these challenges, how to come out of these miseries, how to come out of these, for example, like the pressure from the family, pressure from the community, your ill health, right, and so forth. So then, how to come up with these problems? So oftentimes it is our self-made. Say, when you create problems, when you fight with somebody else, how can you expect the person to say nice words to you? We can't expect that. The person also fight back. So this is self-made. Whereas you don't do anything, but there's some, your husband, your wife, your family, they just create pressure on you, not to go do dharma like this. Then this is not a mistake. But still there's a way out. How to find a way out? How to find this way out is these four lines. And these four lines, just by reciting, the Buddha will then bless you. No. You have to know the meanings of these four lines. And then the real blessing is when you know the meaning. You know how to act properly. This is the real blessing of the Buddha. Don't expect miracles happening. If at all there's a miracle, this is a miracle. That you know the meaning and then you act according to what the Buddha taught. This is the real miracle. This is the real magic. Okay. The first line says, all composite things are impermanent. We need to know the four seals. And this is the foundation for Theravada Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, or in other words, Buddhism in Pali language, Buddhism in Sanskrit language. This is the foundation, the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. In Tibetan, Tawakata Geshe. One time, somebody wrote an article on the four seals. And of course, I know the person so well. And the person asked me to please read it and then give her feedback. And of course, she is very learned. I read it, and of course, the person learned the Dharma for like 20 years, very systematically. I read it, and then I just gave some feedback. And the person came up later and said that I didn't know that these connotations are actually there. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that even though we are into this, the force, you know the forces so well, you learned this for the last many years, doesn't mean that we really know the full import of these four lines. You getting it? So four lines, we need to know individually the meanings and the links. If you don't know the links, sometimes, if the great scholars, they can explain to you each of the four lines, but they don't know the link. They're not aware of the link. How the first one is linked to how the second one is linked to the first, how the third one is linked to the second, how the fourth one is linked to the third. Okay, this is what we need to keep in mind. So with this first one, all composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. So impermanence that we're talking about is of two kinds. And oftentimes when you go through a very low state of your mind, of course we all have that, those days when you go through a very low phase of mind. For example, like say, recently when I was in Serbia, I asked them, and also they asked the same thing to all of you here, that in the winter, when the day is short, cold and foggy and wet and wind of silence, your mind is also goes down. Right? So heavy, sad, for no reason. How many of you had that experience? Raise hands. Okay, some of you breathe so heavily. the person realized that, wow, he's just like, exactly pinpointing to what I've been through. Raise hands. Who never had such experience? Raise hands. Who never had such experience? Winter, short daytime, and very cold, wet, foggy night. It's too early for you to go to bed, and you have nothing to do. And outside, pin drop silence. You want the birds to chirp. There's no birds chirping. People making noise, no noise. Pin drop silence. And your mind droops down. Okay. How many of you have never had this experience, resonance? Huh? I know. Okay. Okay. Short days doesn't mean like 4 hours a day, and like how many? 12, 18, 20. Yeah, like 20 hours. 20 hours a night, 4 hours, no, not to that extent. There are some places like this. Say, for example, like here, Dharamsala, in the winter, it does like 5, 6, it becomes, the dust falls. And we get up like, usually 6 means it's very bright, still it's not bright, cold, right? Okay, if you don't have this experience, either stay in Dharamsala for the winter, or go to, particularly it must be a little wet. The wet, like this sound, tick 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 tick, wet, pin drop silence, and the best would be go to Scandinavian countries in the winter. Very cold, right? And somebody described who lives in Lahore Spiti, and there's one monk. He described it so beautifully. So if you want to know what that is like, go to Lahore Spiti. I'll arrange it. Lahore Spiti in the winter. He said that. How many months? 4 or 5 months, cut off from the world. This is his description. 4 or 5 months, cut off from the world, rest of the world. And you see only white, every white. What is snow? White, so cold. It's so like totally lifeless. When he was saying this, for sure, he disliked that. So you can go there. Yeah. Okay. When these things happen, and this is just one example. In your life, there are so many things which make your mind go down, feel so sad, feel so frustrated, So there, the first line, all composite things impermanent. If you remember this line, even if you cannot go to the depth of the meaning of this line, just basically impermanent, if this will pass, if this moment will disappear like a memory, right? For example, they say, do you remember the things, say the unfortunate things or sad things that happened 15 years ago? Raise hands, who could remember such things in your life? Sad things that happened to you 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, for the younger ones, 10 years ago. Yes, now when you think back in time, it doesn't really affect you. No, it's just a faint memory. It's gone, impermanence. So that's very helpful. You think about this. One day, But what's so important is that we have to keep growing. When you keep growing in your Dharma knowledge, never give up. Keep growing in your Dharma knowledge, and always keep in touch with the community, with the people who really support you, who really they take care of you. Keep in touch with them. Over time, your growth inevitably happens. And then, over time, when you reflect back in time, what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they're just like a very faint memory. It doesn't affect you. So this prospective event to happen to you after 20 years, you can think of them now. Oh, one day this will also become like a memory, just a faint memory, will not affect me. It will be great healing for you, number one. Then now to go into depth, all composite things impermanent. When think about also I'd like to share these things. His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Tibet, when he was just in his 20s. Just in his 20s, just imagine a 20-year-old boy, 21-year-old boy. Just imagine. How many of you are younger than 21 reasons? How many of you are younger than no one? His Holiness was just 20 or 21 then. And communist CCP generals, they were coming there to harass His Holiness. Right? Mentally. Finally to take up to annex Tibet. And they sometimes talk nicely, sometimes talk very brutally, and so forth. And then his ministers, 2 prime ministers, they were standing by His Holiness very courageously. They are all, of course, the elders. They must be in their 60s. And they were the CCP generals. They were threatening these 2 prime ministers of Tibet. And they stood so firmly, to the extent that eventually one of the prime ministers, he became so desperate. Personally, in private, he came to have consultation with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then he was on the verge to resign, And His Holiness, as a young boy, just 20 years old, just imagine what advice he gave. Even this also impermanent. This is what His Holiness advised. So what I'm saying is that look, in real life, how relevant these Dharma practices are to heal you at desperate situations. They will help us. And remember these things happening to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, right? And then what is happening to us is very small, individual. So it will greatly help us. You getting it? Okay. So now we have to go a little deeper into this. All composite things impermanent. Composite phenomena. And oftentimes people think that the Buddha taught everything is impermanent. And that's not true. And even some big acclaimed professors, they said that Buddha taught everything is impermanent. That's not true. Only composite things are impermanent. Because the first line says what? All composite phenomena, all composite things are impermanent. Buddha did not say everything is impermanent. Buddha said all composite things are impermanent, connoting that there are things which are non-composite. Non-composite things are not impermanent. Composite things are impermanent. Of course, we cannot go into detail, but in the group discussions, those of you who are interested, what is composite, what is non-composite, feel free to bring this up. And there are many seniors doing NMC, NDC, and you help them explain these things well, and then you don't end up yourself ending up into a heated debate with your the seniors, right? There, I can see anyone from NMC 1 presents. NMC 1. Okay, NMC 2. Okay, many from NMC 2 and NTC 1, 2, 3, NTC 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are many of you. So I would say that NMC 1, NMC 2, NTC 1, NTC 2 and 3. 4 you are just now studying. Others can help the rest of the participants here. What is composite, what is not composite? And if the question is a very serious way, you find it very difficult to bring this up, we can discuss in class also. Okay, All composite things are impermanent. The composite things mean things which are composed of, say, the material particles and temporal particles. Things which are composed of material particles and the temporal particles. What do you mean by material particles and temporal particles? For example, say this flower. This flower, this is the one entity as a flower. But if you look at it very closely, we see that there are so many petals. It's composed of the petals. And each of the petals, if you dissect them further, you see that they are made of the cells. And the cells, you dissect them further, you see that they are made of molecules, the chromosomes, and the molecules. And then you dissect them further, you see them that they are made of atoms. So we see that these are made of the material small particles, material parts. And then what about the temporal parts? Some of you may be more interested in this part. Temporal parts. Temporal meaning time, parts in time. For example, say our mind does not have material parts, but it has temporal parts. What do you mean by temporal parts? That our mind exists in time. For example, say the 2023. Today is March 31st. Say March 31st. And 2023 March 31st, which means like 3 months of this year. 3 months being completed. 3 months. What is meant by 3 months? So my mind existed in these 3 months within this year. These 3 months. So the mind of the first month, January 2023, the mind of the second month, mind of the third month. Mind of the third month, let's say, mind of the third month, again we see that the third month has 31 days. 31 days. The first day mind, second day mind, third day mind, and so forth. There are 31 divisions within the March of 2023. 31 divisions. These divisions, these parts, small parts, the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, these parts are not the parts in material sense. These are the parts in time, because days are time. Okay. So we see that composite phenomena means things which are composed of material parts or temporal parts, and all let's say all the material things like your body, the table, the flower, the house, and so forth. These have material parts as well as temporal parts. Material parts meaning parts in dimension, east, west, north, south direction, directional parts. Material parts meaning directional parts. And the mind does not have directions. It only has parts in time. Directional parts and temporal parts too. So anything which is made of these two things are known as composite phenomena. Whereas composite phenomena should necessarily be impermanent in nature. You getting it? What does mean by impermanent? What is very impermanent? Impermanence has two connotations: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Okay, we'll stop here.
Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Akyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangate Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangate Bodhisvatyata